Oasis Audio presents Mortal Queens, The Fae Dynasty, Volume 1, by Victoria Mccombs. Read for you by Ellen Quay. Chapter 1. My life has been defined by bells. The first time, I got whipped in the square for stealing, while the old brass bells tolled like laughter. The bells were on their final note the morning I found my mother gone. And when Desmond kissed me by the Celestine fountain, the bells kept count. They rang now, reminding me I was late. Already, the trumpets sang from the heart of the island, their low sound reaching the fish market at the docks. I tripped over cobblestones in my rush to get home before the ceremony began. Splinters from the wooden ladder dug into my hands as I struggled to keep a few squashes tucked under my arms while I scaled the walls of close-knit homes. Rampant weeds clawed at the stone and scratched my cheeks, sending sharp bolts of pain with each movement and tugging at my grip. Some of the squashes fell, landing with a thud on the ground. I stared down. I hadn't the time to go back for them. Davin would see it and know I'd been thieving from his gardens again. I clutched the remaining vegetables and sprinted across the roof, flinging myself over the other side. Discomfort rippled through my heels as they collided with stone on the next roof, but I bit my lip and hurtled again. Twice more I did this, until I reached the familiar gray-speckled slab of my home. I stole a peek behind me toward the heart of the sandy island, where caravans of camels packed the outlying streets with their noses pointed inward, like they knew what greatness would descend upon us today. For one day a year, one beautiful hour, the magnificent Fae appeared. The ache inside me to turn and find them sank deep, and my betraying feet angled in the direction of the governor's house where they would be. Had the 3 Fae ambassadors arrived already? I looked up to the pluming clouds like pillars of sand in the sky, thick enough that I couldn't see through. The skies could have been clear and it wouldn't matter. No one ever saw the Fae ambassadors arrive until they stood at the grand balcony of the center square, overlooking the mortals. I ought to be there already. It took all my focus to quench my thirst for the sight of the Fae for a little while longer, but the Queen's Day choosing ceremony was the only event Davin might leave his gardens for. That man's diligence to his crops might have been strong enough to cloud his love for the Fae. I leapt over the final roof with what vegetables remained in my grasp. Thoughts of Davin and his pitchfork fled my mind as soon as I climbed down the iron trellis and pushed through the door. Cal stood in the foyer with his arms crossed and his mouth set firm. "I'm going to kill you." I arranged the squashes on the ground and spread my arms wide like a prized treasure, but Cal only gave them a passing glance. "You could have left without me," I said as I dusted myself off. Sweet little Malcolm stood by the door holding a wraparound dress for me. He wore one shining emerald earring in his left ear, while Cal wore the other. That left the nose ring for me. It sat in Malcolm's tiny palm, waiting for me to put it on. Cal tapped his foot, sneaking peeks outside. "Next time I will." "Next year, I won't be eligible for selection, and I won't care." It was a lie, and Cal knew that, but he was kind enough not to say so. I'd always care about the Fae. I'd always want a glimpse of them, even if this was the last year I was eligible to be chosen as their new High Queen. The desire to be connected to them ran so deep, it might as well have been in my blood. I shivered with nerves. I'd see them in a minute. My fingers fumbled to slip the ring in my nose and tie the garment over my clothes, hiding my faded purple tunic beneath the fiery silk. Both my brothers wore shades of orange, too. Cal with his stiff blazer and Malcolm with his pointed shoes and ruffled top. We'd show up to the ceremony late, looking like a scorching fire. Cal's foot-tapping accelerated. "You act like you don't care now." He nudged my sandals closer with an impatient kick. "I can just see it. You're going to be selected as the next mortal queen from the 5 Islands, and you'll be forced to stand in front of the Fae with wild hair that more closely resembles a wolf than a girl." "A very pretty wolf," Malcolm said. Our little peacemaker. His large brown eyes were filled with none of Cal's worry. I straightened Malcolm's collar. "I could be a wolf. Makes me sound dangerous." But I raked my fingers through my hair all the same and tried brushing smut from my hand before realizing it was paint from this morning.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?